Now that we're in the week of United States Thanksgiving, you're going to start seeing sales being released for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, holiday sales in general. Some companies and businesses have already put out sales that you can participate in today. Some of them have released the sales that will come out later this week. And some companies just haven't released anything yet, which doesn't mean that they won't have a sale. It just means that they haven't said anything in terms of what kind of deals they might have going on. So this video is specifically just something that I wanted to make to say, if you are looking for gifts to find for somebody who really enjoys Dungeons and Dragons for the most part, or even tabletop role-playing games, because I will go over a few things that might be of interest as well. This is a good video for you, for somebody who might be interested in getting something for themselves or trying to think of something that you might want on your wish list for your present, or if you're looking for gift ideas to give somebody that really enjoys Dungeons and Dragons or tabletop role-playing games, but you're not quite sure what to get them, or you're not familiar with the hobby enough to know what to get them. So I thought I would share with you all some ideas that I thought would be really good for specific audiences or specific people that are at different levels or different experience levels rather for tabletop role-playing games and Dungeons and Dragons. But a couple things I want to mention is that none of the products that I'm mentioning here have paid me to do any sort of promotion whatsoever. So this is all just based on what I think would be a good product. And some of these may have a sale going on, some of these may not. So it's just something to keep in mind, that I'm not getting reimbursed or getting paid to talk about any of these things. The other thing that I always suggest to people, because with Dungeons and Dragons and tabletop role-playing games being very, very specific to people's tastes and preferences and things like that, is if you're getting a gift for someone, it's always a good idea to do a couple of things. Is one, check with them as much as you can. I know some people like surprises, but if you can figure out either checking with them directly, or maybe asking a friend or someone close to them that knows them pretty well and knows the hobby enough, what they might prefer in terms of gift. Because sometimes when you might make a good gesture where, oh, you think this dice set looks really nice, or you think they would enjoy this game, and get that for them. And sometimes they may have a preference on what kind of dice they might want. So maybe you get them metal dice, but really they wanted like resin or plastic, or something like a liquid core kind of dice set. So you definitely want to check and see what they might prefer. But in addition to that, if you as much as possible, if you can get these things at a local game store, whether it's your local game store or the person you're buying for, if it's their local game store, that really helps support small businesses. And I'm all about trying to do that as much as possible. So even if they don't have like a website, something like that, maybe giving them a gift card to that local game store, so that way they can decide what they want. That, I think, is going to be preference, because you're giving them money to be able to buy the product that they want for the Dungeons and Dragons game that they're playing, or some other role-playing game. But you're also supporting local small businesses as well too. So those are a couple things I want to put out up front, is double check with the person or somebody close to the person that you're getting a gift for, and try to support locally as much as possible by trying to buy from their local game store or from your local game store as well too. So with that being said, let me go ahead and dive in and show you a few things that I think would be of interest for you, or for someone that you're thinking about buying a gift for this holiday season, that you should probably check out. Okay, so the first couple things I'm going to share with everybody is, this is really designed for somebody who wants to get into Dungeons and Dragons and just want to know like where to get started, whether they want to try it as a player or even want to try it as a dungeon master. A couple of these products I'm going to mention are really ideal for those kinds of people who are wanting to get started into Dungeons and Dragons, or just wants to maybe be able to play more and they just haven't had a chance. They just played a few one-shots or just a couple of experiences and just want to do more of this. There's a couple of starter sets that you can get, and these are going to be based on the new 2024 Dungeons and Dragons rule set that came out last year. Again, talk to the person that you're thinking about buying the game for, or talking to someone close to them, because some people do have a preference in terms of what edition they want to play. 2024 just came out last year. There is a 5th edition that came out in 2014, so it gets a little bit confusing because there's still one 5th edition, but there's one that came out 2014, and then last year is an updated version. So these starter sets I'm going to mention, and really a lot of things I'm going to mention here, is going to be based off of the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition 2024. But the first one is Heroes of the Borderlands starter set. What's really nice about this is that it gives you everything to get started, to learn how to play the game, and it comes with a lot of great stuff. So even though the price here is $55, I think it's definitely worth it because of all the things that you get in here. And this is listed as the physical and digital format. So digital format is something that you can buy through D&D Beyond, which you can only access through that website. So it's not like a PDF download or anything like that. But if somebody has a D&D Beyond account, they can run games and get access to those things digitally on their platform. But again, it's not something that you can download as a PDF. But this comes with 3 adventures that they can play and run through. It has a quick start guide for easy setup, which is really good because the player's handbook by itself is pretty big, and the core books come in 3 books. There's 8 player boards featuring 4 iconic D&D classics. So you got Cleric, Rogue, Wizard, and Fighter. So those are the classic classes that people can play. And it comes with these boards that pretty much tells you what are some things that your character can do. So instead of filling out a character sheet, it already has things preloaded to tell you what you can do. So that way it eliminates a lot of the guessing for your new player to figure out what they need to select. They can just grab that board, pick a few things with cards and stuff like that in terms of what kind of species they might want to run or background, things like that, and then they're ready to go. So it's really great. I played this with my kid at Gen Con, and they did a fantastic job of designing the pieces here to make it something that you could truly grab and go to play. There's over 200 game cards. There's poster maps, but the poster maps are very high quality tokens. It comes with a set of 11 dice, so that's enough for one player. If there's going to be more players, they should get their own dice, or they just share the dice here. It comes with a combat tracker that teaches new Dungeon Masters how to track initiative effectively. Quick Play Adventure Pack, which again, this is the digital piece that you can get on D&D Beyond, and it's still pretty limited. If you want to get the full Heroes of the Borderlands set on digital, that's a different thing, but this one gives you the basics in terms of if you buy the physical set and want to run it on D&D Beyond Digital, it'll give you a little bit more of those tools to be able to do that on online. It just won't give you all the things in a digital format that you get in the physical format. You have to buy the whole bundle. And then also keep on the Borderlands digital dice set as well too. So this is a good one for someone who wants to get into Dungeons and Dragons. If you're trying to buy something that if you're trying to buy something for someone who is wanting to get into Dungeons and Dragons and they're a Stranger Things fan, I would actually recommend getting the Welcome to the Hellfire Club, which is, they don't call it a starter set, but this is designed for players to play from levels 1 to level 3. I have ran this a couple of times, and I actually like this a lot more than the Heroes of the Borderlands starter set. The Heroes of the Borderlands starter set is really good. Don't get me wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But this one is really good for people who are fans of Stranger Things and want to get into Dungeons and Dragons, or they just want to try it out. I feel like this is a little bit more accessible. They don't have player boards like what we do with Heroes of the Borderland, but they do have character sheets that are designed really well. Like I said, I ran this a couple of times. One time I ran it for my nephews, my kid, and my brother-in-law, and they absolutely loved it. And so let me go through and show you what's in here. Again, ideally for anybody who's a fan of Stranger Things, they would love this, because if you've never watched Stranger Things, but you understand or at least be familiar with Dungeons and Dragons, you'll enjoy this, definitely. But if you are a fan of Stranger Things, there's a lot of Easter eggs and call-outs that you'll really like and think it's really cool that they pull in here. And this is based on the campaign that Eddie Munson, the character in season 4, had created and that they were running. It's based on it. It's not exactly what it is, because there are pieces in there that they're clearly bringing in from the show Stranger Things that the character Eddie would not have known when he wrote the campaign. But it's really good for the fans of Stranger Things. So again, this has like an ultimate bundle. This one's a little bit more expensive, but the box set itself, I believe, is like $50. But it comes with a Dungeon Master screen, a double-sided Hellfire Club poster, which is fantastic. In fact, just to show you, I actually do have this box set. So this is not me just saying, oh, this looks cool. I actually have this and ran it, and will tell you everything in here. Really good in terms of design and quality. But the Hellfire Club poster This is really cool. I really love it. 91 cards for spells, magic items, and monsters. So it tells you all the information that you need for the monsters, for the magic items, what that does. For classes that use spells, it has a spell description, and they designed it very well. That's easy to read and understand. There's 72 tokens that comes to represent player characters and monsters. 2 double-sided poster maps, which are really good quality and really cool, especially level 1. Level 1 is definitely something that Stranger Things fans are just going to absolutely love. Like this, like bar none, this is probably the starter set I would recommend anybody getting, especially if they're fans of Stranger Things. 15 character sheets, which is not 15 characters, it's 5 character options you have, but each one has different levels, because you can run from level 1 to level 3, 4 ventures, and the last 2 ventures are ran at level 3. So it's 15 character sheets, but it's 5 characters that each one has a level 1, 2, and 3. And then 4 in-world handouts. So these are like little props that you can give your players. Again, fantastic. Combat tracker, notepad, set of 11 dice, quick start guide, 4 venture booklets. So each adventure has a booklet that you can read through and run through. Very, 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 very good for new dungeon masters who just want to be able to read through it and run it. You're still going to have a learning curve to figure out what to do if somebody wants to do something that's not listed in the adventure book, which is the case for anytime you're running a D&D game or any role-playing game where it says, like, here are things that people can do, but you know, they could definitely get more creative or go off the walls with it, or you know, embrace the chaos, as I say. But it's really, really well written for that. And then a play guide booklet. Again, if you need to refer to the core rules instead of having a thick book, it actually has, I think it's about 30 or 40 pages of a play guide that you can refer to pretty quickly. So really great to just get started here. And again, this comes with like the digital adventure pack, digital dice, and digital map and sticker pack if they want to run this on D&D Beyond. Next, if you have somebody to buy and gift for that are fans of Stranger Things, whether they're, you know, never played D&D before and they want a set of dice that allows them to play D&D, or if you know somebody that enjoys and loves playing D&D and they also love Stranger Things, Sirius Dice does have some Stranger Things themed products that are coming out really soon. So they're not available yet, but you can definitely pre-order them. But they have character adventure dice based on each character in Stranger Things. You got Will, Mike, Eleven, and Erica. I don't see this on their site yet, but I know they're supposed to have Dustin and Lucas as well. So my guess is they're either you know, behind on putting it up, or there might be, you know, something else going on. So I know that was at least the case at one point. Don't know if he'll show up again or not. But what's really cool is that each of these dice sets are tied to the character themselves. So like if I look at 11 here and you look at the design, we'll look at each dice here. You can see closely that the highest number on each of the dice has a symbol that represents the character. So for Elle, you got the hand that, you know, as the iconic hand that she sticks out when she's using her powers, or the waffle logo. So I absolutely love how they kind of tie it into things are recognizable for fans of the show. And then Will, I forget exactly what his is, but oh yeah, his is a fireball, which is what they talked about, what his character should have done in season 1, episode 1, to try to, you know, get rid of the Demogorgon. And the hat, because his character is a wizard, so Will the Wise. So yeah, so each dice set are definitely connected to each of the characters in the show. And they also have these dice mini cups, which is something that some people love, some people don't care for, but it's really cool. You know, even if they don't use the mini dice, it's something that's really cool to have as like a keepsake. But they have Demogorgon, they have Vecna, they have a Hellfire Club. I believe there should be a demo dog coming out at some point as well too. But these are really cool. I know Hellfire Club is really the one I want to get at some point. But yeah, so if you have somebody that is a huge fan of Stranger Things, definitely check this out from Sirius Dice, because I think they'll like it. Now, whether you have a gift for somebody that is brand new into tabletop role-playing games or Dungeons and Dragons, or somebody who's very experienced, around the holidays, people love dice and they love advent calendars. And FanRoll Dice is one of my favorite dice companies that I love seeing what they have. It's always high quality, great products, very cool and creative. I love all the things that they put out. And this year they have 2 advent calendars. One is the traditional one that they put out every year, which is the holiday dice advent calendar for 2025. It's for $60, but it comes with 24 sets, 24 dice, and a bag as well too. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's all in here. And again, you don't want to show this to the person you're getting for, otherwise it might ruin the surprise. But it comes with a FanRoll dice bag, so that way they can put all the dice in there. And I think that even the start here part, they have you start there because that's the first thing you get is the bag. So that way, as the person that's giving this present to, maybe your child or somebody who you're giving this to, they have something to put it in. So that way it's not just kind of laying loose everywhere. So I appreciate that design thought from FanRoll Dice. But in addition to the bag, it also comes with some holiday themed dice, which these are inclusion dice. So it has elves in every single one of these, which every year is a little bit different. I think the year before may have been like a Santa hat. So I absolutely love this. So it comes with inclusion dice, elves, and this is 7 of these here. And then you got the metal D20 snowman die. And then it comes with a set of dice that is that goes along with the metal die here, as well as some extra dice that are included that you can have just tons of dice. So this is a good starter set, basically, for somebody who's getting into role-playing games and Dungeons and Dragons. This one is specifically themed around the Frostmaiden's Aurora, which is, I believe, a character or a monster creature in a popular Dungeons and Dragons campaign called Rime of the Frostmaiden. And so this one is really for those who like enjoy this campaign or are very familiar with this story. This is for $65, but the things that come in here are really cool. So you got a dice bag that it comes up, and again, it says start here, so you definitely want to open that up first. But it comes with this really cool dice tray, and then it comes with a set of mini dice, which has the D&D ampersand logo on the highest number of each one, which I absolutely love. So if you have somebody that loves mini dice, like my kid, they're going to absolutely love this. And then they come with the set of inclusion dice with 7 of these here as well too. Yep, I'm sorry, I was counting these, but yeah, 7 of the traditional ones with inclusion dice, and then a big D20 here as well too. I don't know if it comes with both of these or if you only get like one of these, and these are the options that it can randomly come with. But this is really cool too as well. So a little bit more expensive, but I think the quality really speaks for itself because this has a really cool dice tray that comes with it. Some mini dice in here, and I think the dice here as well is really worth the price too. So here is an advent calendar that you can get for somebody from FanRoll Dice. The other company I really love to get dice from is this company called Q Workshop, and they're based out of Europe, but I go and see them every year at Gen Con as well as FanRoll Dice. In fact, I've done a video called The Dice at Gen Con where I talked to somebody from FanRoll Dice. I talked to Neil, who's the CEO of the company, talked to somebody from Q Workshop, and I also talked to Sirius Dice as well too, to show off what dice they were selling at Gen Con. So if you're interested in that, I'm going to put a link in the description as well too. But Q Workshop has some fantastic dice. My favorite one that they've created are these dice called Dracopolis dice sets. And it's kind of like in the theme of a dragon, and you probably can't see it very closely because I'm small on the screen, but these are really cool. I absolutely love. That's my favorite dice set from them. So I highly recommend checking out their stuff. They have Witcher themed dice. They have pet dice. So if you have somebody that absolutely loves dogs or cats, they have dice that are dog themed or cat themed. But they also put out a holiday advent calendar, dice calendar every year as well too. And theirs tends to be more of like the traditional holiday stuff that you think about. So if I click on this image here, let me go ahead and go back. Sorry. But you can see like these dice, are kind of like flavored around the gingerbread men here as well too. So they have something different every year, but really cute, really traditional holiday Christmas theme kind of nostalgia that comes with this. And so if you know that your person would really love this sort of dice that has that kind of feel to it, this would be a great option as well. Next, I like to promote smaller companies as much as possible. This is a group of people that I met at Origins game convention in Columbus, Ohio. Fantastic people. They're wonderful, very nice, very passionate about the stuff that they make. They had a Kickstarter that they ran to try to support and fund their idea here called Blackstone Blocks, which are magnetic pieces that people can put together to form like a 3D terrain for their role-playing games, maps that they have. And I use this for my Daggerheart campaign for the kids when I was running that, and I'll put a link in here as well too, so that way if you want to watch it in action, you can definitely check it out and see how it looks, and you can see the kids absolutely love this. So this is a really cool product. They unfortunately didn't get their full goal supported on Kickstarter, but they're still planning on releasing this. And so if you go to their website, which I'll link into the description as well, you can actually start the pre-order. It looks like right here it says it'll go live November 24th, which today is it's today, so it should be going today at some point. But what I really love about this is, again, fantastic people. I made a suggestion. They were asking for what kind of weapons that they might want to include in here. I suggested, I think, like a fire flaming glaive or something like that, and they included this in here and told me that, you know, they got the idea from what I suggested. And so it's really cool to see something that I suggested showing up here. But this is really cool product to look at. They also sell some other stuff that's really cool. This one, again, embracing the chaos. This is called a reckless roller that someone can like bounce their die off of, and then it'll just like roll. And so this is a lot of fun that people really enjoy, just kind of throwing their dice, seeing it bounce off of this little mini trampoline to roll their dice. But they also have some really cool things here as well too, like a handsome ooze micro adventure. This comes with a small like mini adventure that is rolled up in the ooze. But the cool thing about this one is that if you are using gelatinous cube in your game and you're kind of using this as a mini to represent, if there's ability that the gelatinous cube has, gelatinous cube has that kind of absorbs that person, they go and they get like grappled inside of it, you can actually open up the cube, put the mini that represents that character in it, and then close it to really represent and give that immersion feel to it. I absolutely love that. And they also have these things called inspiration tokens that can serve as physical tokens to remind your players that they have inspiration, so they can put a D20 on there. So that way, when they're looking at their stuff, if they're like, oh yeah, I have that inspiration, they can take that die and then give you back the token and then roll it. So I have those. Those are fantastic. My players love those as well too. So definitely, if you're looking for a small business, support these guys because they are phenomenal. They're fantastic. I really, really enjoy all the things that they're doing, and they're just wonderful people to talk with. So again, I'll put a link in the description as well so you can check them out. But they have some great products on here, and these are just like what's on the first page. You can definitely go through and see what else they have. Now, in terms of other things that you can check out, again, I'm a big proponent of trying to support small businesses, but I know at the same time that, you know, price is important for some people in terms of something that's reasonably priced and something that is affordable for you. So Amazon does have the Black Friday deals going on, and if you go and select Black Friday and type in Dungeons and Dragons, this will give you a list of products that are on sale that are a pretty good deal. But it also gives you an idea of like what are some things out there that you might be like, oh, I wonder if this person might like this. And so it gives you kind of like a starting point of asking them, is this something that they're interested in? So you see some adventure books here that they can run a campaign or on sale. This is a little mini dice set that some people, again, enjoy having something like that. Some people are like, that's not my thing. Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves is a movie that came out 2 years ago, I believe. It was a fantastic movie. It didn't do well at the box office just because of a number of things. But if you talk to anybody who is a fan of Dungeons & Dragons and watch the movie, by and large, they'll say that this was actually a very fantastic movie. They all love this. So this is a really good one to check out. But then you got some other books. Like this is more of a mixology book, you know, how to make the Dungeons & Dragons themed drinks, things like that. But yeah, so you got some more campaign books. You got shirts that are D&D related. So definitely go to Amazon, check it out. If affordability is what you're looking for, I totally get it, and there's some really good deals that are on here they can check out. Or if you just want an idea of like what might be out there that you want to get inspiration from, you know, this is a good place to look for it as well too. If you want to buy something that is a little bit more premium or something that you're able to afford to spend a little bit more on, that you want to give somebody like a higher quality product, there's a couple of companies that I would recommend. One of them is called Beadle and Grimm's, which has been around for a long time. They have some really high quality products. And again, this is going to be a little bit more expensive, but if this is something that you're interested in, this might be something that is right up your alley. But they do have, if I can get through here real quick, they do have a sale going on right now through Cyber Monday where you can buy any premium box. You get everything else 60% off. So that's a pretty good deal. And the premium boxes are these boxes down here, if they have it. Maybe, I thought it was on their homepage, but it looks like it's not. So let me go ahead and go to Shop Premium RPG Editions. Here we go. Okay. Excuse me, sorry about that. But these are the premium boxes that they're talking about here, and it's basically an adventure that exists that's been published by Wizards of the Coast, who owns Dungeons and Dragons. And what they do is they create these premium boxes that gives you a lot more physical tools to be able to run these games based on the adventure that it's published off of. So like we have the golden anniversary of the Quest of an Infinite Staircase. So not only is this adventure, but it comes with like a lot of different things that you can use to run, like maps. DM screens usually comes with those kinds of things. Dragon Delves is a new adventure anthology that just came out that has a lot of maps in there, has some like physical artifacts that you can use for your games. Forgotten Realms is one that is just brand new, that got released a couple of weeks ago, and this comes with a whole series of maps. Are fantastic. I love the Forgotten Realms, and so I think this is something that's really cool. If you know that somebody is a fan of Forgotten Realms, this would be really good to have. Even if they don't have the books, this definitely goes with the adventure book that they just released. But even if they don't have it, they'll probably enjoy this because it does give them maps that they can use that's in that setting. And it comes with a really cool Dungeon Master screen that you can see here. So really a lot of cool things here for Beadle Grimm's, that if you want something of a higher quality product, this is something to check out. And you'll see that some of them range in price, and that's just because it depends on what's in there. So the Forgotten Realms Premium Map Collection is a box of map collections that just comes with the primary thing comes with is a bunch of maps, as opposed to something like Quest of an Infinite Staircase. It has maps, but also comes with like a lot more things as well too, which is why there is a difference in terms of the price for those things. And so you can see that it comes with, if I click through here, it comes with, let me just go ahead and try to go straight there. All right, so it comes with maps that are just beautifully done. Comes with like a little adventure book here, some artwork, and there's even a list. I'll tell you what's all in here as well too. So it tells you which adventures this is designed for specifically, that's in the book, and then what it comes with for each one of these as well too. So Beadle and Grimm's is a great site to look for those things. Even if this is like, I want something of high quality, but this is still way too much, you can still go through like the Dungeons and Dragons section and just look and see what they have that might be of interest. Say like, okay, I think this might actually work for me. So for example, there's these battle boards that's kind of like character sheets that are high quality that someone can use a dry erase pen to fill in. They also have a bunch of different kinds of dice. Like this is classic module dice sets. It's based off of Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, so it kind of gives that nostalgic feel to it. They got little pins that represents different factions or organizations in Dungeons and Dragons. These are specifically for Forgotten Realms as well too. They got encounter cards, things like that. So maybe a full premium box is a little too much, but maybe one of these things in here is something that you might be interested in, or you think the person you're buying for is interested in here as well too. Another high quality company that I'll also suggest is Elderwood Academy. They have a lot of great things that you can buy that are really durable, really, just worth the price, in my opinion, that you can get. And again, they range from different prices depending on what you're getting, but I absolutely love their DM screens. These range from like, I think somewhere between $200 and $400 depending on what you're getting. And again, definitely check with the person or someone close to them about getting this, because some people are very particular about their DM screen and what they want to have in here. But there's a lot of stuff that comes with the DM screen that, as a DM, I would absolutely love to have these things, because I have something that holds all my dice. It gives me a dice rolling tray that I can use. It has a place for me to store my minis. It has a magnetic document display, so if I have like a one-page for my adventure outline that I'm running for that day, I can like, use magnets to connect it to that. It shows you a little bit more like how it looks. You can use a short configuration, which is only 10 inches high, which is really good if you want to be able to easily look over, or you got a tall configuration, which gives you a little bit more space. It's designed a little bit more for using like the traditional paper sizes, like 8.5 by 11. And if you're good with, looking over the DM screen, which I have no problem because I'm a tall guy anyway. So this is what I recommend if you're looking for something that is definitely of a high quality. If you are somebody that you want to donate in the name of the person that you're purchasing for, there is an organization called Let's Quest whose sole purpose is to provide resources to schools and libraries to encourage the use of role-playing games at their areas, right? And so they take donations and they provide a lot of resources and take that money to purchase things to give these to schools who are asking for it or need it. And it comes in the form of like physical materials. They provide digital materials. They have tutorials, things like this. So this is a really good organization to check out if you're interested in maybe donating in the name of somebody. So those are a lot of D&D presents that you can get. There are a few things that I want to point out that, you might want to check these things out, and just in terms of maybe this is something that's a little bit different, but is of interest to the person that you're buying a gift for. These are going to be non-D&D related things, but still something that people who play role-playing games will really be interested in. So if you know that the person you're buying for like exclusively Dungeons and Dragons and they don't want to play anything else, or they're only interested in Dungeons and Dragons, then this next part may not be of interest. But if you know the person just enjoys playing role-playing games in general, here's a few places that I would encourage you to start looking at. There's a company called Free League Publishing that has a bunch of different role-playing games that they have published, and they're all fantastic. Some of them run from like their own IP that they have, and then they also are known for taking really popular intellectual properties and turning it into a role-playing game. So the big one that they have right now is called the Aliens RPG, which is based off of the movie Alien. I am not a fan of that movie, but I just hear people say wonderful things about that. And so that tells you a little bit about the kinds of stuff that they put out, that not only do some of their games have intellectual property in there that's very popular, but it's very well designed for that game as well too. But they have 3 different genres they dabble in: sci-fi, fantasy, and horror. I'm going to pick on the fantasy part just because this gives you a little bit of idea of games that are kind of give you that D&D feel, but it's not exactly Dungeons and Dragons. My favorite one that they have is Dragonbane, which we'll see right here. It has a lot of very similar aspects to Dungeons & Dragons, but enough of a difference that makes it feel like a different game. I'll put a link to the video I made about my review of my thoughts about Dragonbane and why I think people should play Dragonbane. I'll put a link in there as well too. But Dragonbane is a fantastic game that they should really check out. It's high fantasy. It's a little bit of a darker, grimmer kind of feel. So if you think about like, Pan's Labyrinth or, the Dark Crystal, those kinds of vibes, Dragonbane definitely exudes those kinds of vibes as well too. Another game is the One Ring, which is based off of Lord of the Rings. So this is a completely different system. Dragonbane uses a D20 roll under, which means that you're trying to roll. You're trying to make sure that your number that you roll is under whatever number you're trying to achieve. The One Ring is a brand new role-playing system that Free League has designed and created specifically for the Lord of the Rings property. And it uses a 2d12 system and also a six-sided dice pool as well too. So one of them is called like Success Pool, which is what the D6s are for, and then the 2d12s are like the feat dice and all that. And so this is a really fantastic game that I've heard people talk about. They do have a starter set for this, and they have one for Dragonbane, and both starter sets are fantastic. So if you know that they're interested in trying this out, starter sets are going to be a really good option for them, because not only the starter set gives you everything that you need, but Free League does a really good job of designing it very, very well. And so this tells you a little bit more about the One Ring itself. But if you want to check out their starter set to see what's all in there, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, because it does have so much to get started here. So this is in the Swedish currency, which I think this is about, I'm guessing here, but I think this is about $60, give or take, in US dollars. But you can see here it has, the rules books, the Shire and the Adventures book comes with all these cards. It comes with maps, comes with the dice set, things like that. And so this is a really good, high quality product, really on par with what we just saw with Dungeons and Dragons as well too. And Dragonbane also has a starter set that's done very well. And then I know I said this is more for like non-Dungeons and Dragons, but they do have, Free League does have a 5th edition version of the One Ring that they call Lord of the Rings 5th edition, that basically a lot of the stuff that they put out in the form of the One Ring system as well as 5th edition. So you'll see that there's a lot of books that have different names, but two of them might be the exact same. It's just that one name is for the One Ring system and the other one is for Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. Next RPG role-playing game that you might want to consider getting for somebody is Shadowdark. This has been very popular. You can see just from here that it actually won I think Game of the Year award last year for the Ennies, which is like a huge role-playing game award ceremony. I've heard a lot of people say that this is really good to introduce people into Dungeons and Dragons, but it has like just a really cool feel to it. It's definitely a lot deadlier, so if somebody likes something that's a lot more dangerous, this is a really good option to check out. But Shadowdark is one that's been very, very popular lately, and so this might be something to look at. And again, talk to the person you're buying for, someone close to them. Another one that's been insanely popular is this game called Daggerheart. It definitely has the high fantasy feel to it, but it is a different system. They also use a 2d12, what's called a 2d12 duality dice system, and it's high fantasy. It's created by the company or the people that are known as Critical Role, which is a huge Dungeons and Dragons actual play group. They're probably the most popular one right next to Dimension 20. So if I'm saying these organizations, you have no idea who they are, just take away with the fact that they're probably the most well-known group that plays Dungeons and Dragons and tabletop role-playing games. And they created this new system that has sold out like really quickly when they released earlier this May. And so they've actually been having a hard time filling orders, back orders, because there's been such a demand for it. But this is also a really good one that is high fantasy. It does have more of a balance to role playing as well too, and narrative. And so if you know that the person really enjoys focusing on the narrative side of things, this will be a good one because it has more encouragement in thinking about how to design your adventures and how to play the game from a narrative point of view, which you could definitely do in Dungeons and Dragons, but this one just has like a different approach or different take on it. So Daggerheart is another game to check out and see if they might be interested in it. And if you can find that game, which I know they've been restocking, I've been seeing it back up at stores and stuff like that. But definitely see if that might be an option they're interested in. Speaking of Critical Role, if you know that the person you're buying gifts for is a fan of Critical Role, then they have a sale going on right now all the way through mid-December. They have a lot of cool products that are on really good deals. One of the things that you might want to pay attention to are these Bailey's dice bag of Hoarding. If you know the person that you're buying your gift for is someone that's a huge dice collector, which who isn't, whoever's in this hobby has a huge dice collection, this might be something to think about because it will hold all the dice that they have, and it holds a lot too. I have 2 of these, and we have a lot of dice, but they're only like halfway full, so this is a good investment as well too. Last but not least, if you know that the person that you are buying for is interested in Baldur's Gate 3, the creators of Baldur's Gate 3, Larian Studios, does have a merchandise store that you can buy products from them directly that is associated with their game Baldur's Gate 3. And so there's a vinyl record that they have. There is a Mind Flayer poster that's been pretty popular. They have a pin set that represents like a few of the different groups that you see in Baldur's Gate 3. There is a desk pad. This is specifically for Divinity Original Sin 2 game, which is a different game than Dungeons and Dragons or than Baldur's Gate 3. So definitely make sure you're paying attention to what it says. So Divinity Original Sin, that's not Baldur's Gate 3. This is specifically for Larian. Another Divinity Original Sin. Let's go ahead and scroll down here. This is a Baldur's Gate 3 beanie. This is the logo that's really popular associated with the game. Deluxe editions, the Mind Flayer shirt, things like that. So all these things, and the owlbear hat. I have the owlbear hat. It's insanely popular. People love the owlbear. It's really cute. So that's another place that you can look for, gift ideas. So those are my suggestions on what you might want to get somebody in the Dungeons and Dragons or the tabletop role-playing game hobby if you're looking for things. As I mentioned, some of these things have sales. Some of them may not be on sale, but I think these are really cool things that you can give them that have come out this year or just kind of fits that theme. So hopefully this is helpful for you. Let me know if there's any other deals that you're aware of out there or anything else that you might suggest that can be put on this list as well too, because I love to hear what other things people really enjoy as somebody who is in the hobby itself, what kind of gifts they think would be really cool. But hopefully this kind of hits a whole range that gives you a lot of options to choose from. So as always, go reckless or go home and take care. Thank you.